Hey everyone. In today's video, I'm going to go over a overview document of a TAM that we built out for a customer where they were asking us for literally 4 pages of signals. And I think I even gave them a 3-week timeline to get all of these data enrichments done for their ideal customer profile across all the companies that fit their target addressable market requirements. And it actually only took me 2 days to put this together because Claude Code and all the APIs that we have access to are just absolutely so powerful that it was just absolutely insane. And so today we're not going to go over the how-to of each of these things because literally I think you can take the transcript of this video and just upload it to Claude Code and then it'll learn how we did it. So I'm going to explain in depth how we got each signal and the little points where I decided, okay, I want Claude Code to do this versus I want an API to do this, et cetera, et cetera. And so let's just jump into this presentation that I've made for everybody about what exactly we put together. So they have about 300 companies in their target market, and we sourced over, well, close to, I was going to say over 7,000, but really close to 7,500 signals of some kind of buying intent across all of them. And you'll see that it says that we used 4 parallel AI research pipelines and then a fan out of Claude subagents, structured evidence with URL level citations, etc. All these things. And so we're going to talk about what all that really means, but this is an example of the top level signals that we were able to find. We found signals for transformation within the company. We found signals based on the earnings reports of the publicly traded companies. We found signals for mergers and acquisitions, for personnel changes, and firmographic. And so when you jump in, you'll see this data is really, really rich. And now I might get ourselves cut off just a little bit, but I want to zoom in so everybody can see everything. And I know that end might get cut off, but we'll talk about it in a second. So look at how rich, absolutely rich this data is. We got the digital AI program launches, the ERP modernization initiatives, the plant closures. Moving over here, we got forward guidance for what they thought their earnings per share was going to be. We got their quarterly results. We got their annual revenue. We got their minority stake sales. We got bolt-on tuck-ins. We got acquisitions. You can pause the video and read all of the crazy things that we were getting. Sale rumors we even got, right? And I'll zoom out so everybody can see this without my video taking up too much of it as well too. And all of this to say that we were basically able to upload this customer's onboarding form, the Google Sheet, and the onboarding call as the transcript, and it figured all these things. And this is basically how we were able to do that. And so obviously the reason that we want to do this is because we obviously believe that generic emails aren't going to land. We want to be able to show a lot of relevance and have a reason for reaching out to every single company because all these companies are incredibly important and worth a lot of money to all of them. And so I even had Claude figure out for us where we got all of these. And so I'm just making sure this doesn't get cut off. Yes, perfect. So we scored all of the companies. First, we sourced all of the companies via Prospeo and the Blitz API just to get as many ICP fit companies that we possibly could. We used what I call as a ICP prompt loop. So for anybody who might be new here, an ICP prompt loop is just where we tell Claude, okay, hey, we need to figure out a prompt that is going to make sure that you can look at a company description and say, this company fits our ideal customer profile. Show me 10 results of what you think fits the profile, and then I'll fix those and only run this across our entire list until you've run it 2 times in a row where I said everything was good. So everything was scored. All 284 companies fit our ICP from an industry, company description, location, and employee headcount standard. Then we needed to find all this other crazy data. And so when it really came to finding the other crazy data, what that really took was just pointing Claude in the right direction of, hey, if I want to find that they have hired a new digital transformation officer, or they hired a new chief marketing officer, I want to get that data from Rapid API in this particular part. Rapid API has a LinkedIn endpoint that maybe I'll put in the link or the description of the video, where there's a Rapid API endpoint where you can rent fake LinkedIn profiles and access them via an API. So you get super, super, super up-to-date data, really cheap. I really love using it. And so I said, hey, here are all the signals we want to find with the Rapid API endpoint. So not only did we find all the company and employee information about who works there and how long they've been working there and all those kind of things, we also were able to find who has changed jobs recently and all of their past experience. One thing that this company even wanted was how many of these people have worked in senior leadership roles within the TAM. So somebody used to work at Pepsi and now they work at Coca-Cola, or somebody used to work at Salesforce and now they work at HubSpot, etc. Then the second thing is this sub agent. And I think this is a huge, huge hack that I don't think enough people are taking advantage of. You can explicitly tell Claude Code, hey, using Sonnet task sub agents, go do this research. And so instead of paying for a API that is going to charge you per usage, instead of paying for a bunch of AI tokens out of pocket, when you have Claude Code usage, it literally will just use these Sonnet subagents and then just charge you usage instead of charging AI tokens. Now, this is really important because some people are estimating that the usage that you get on a $200 a month Claude Code plan might be the equivalent to somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 of token usage, which obviously is something that we wanted to take advantage of, right? And so then a lot of the research that we did, we just said, hey, this is publicly available research. It was things that we wanted to know was how many locations do they have of manufacturing facilities? Okay, well, we don't need to get behind a login like we need to do for LinkedIn, so we don't need Rapid API. This is just things that are going to be somewhere on the internet, and using a web fetch tool was going to be perfectly reasonable to be able to do that. And so that's a perfect situation that we're using Sonnet subagents for. Just to be very explicit, I'll point out some other things. When we were reading the earnings reports, with, we would use an API on Rapid API to get the earnings reports, and then we were using the Anthropic Batch API. That was taking too long with Sonnet subagents. I could have done that, but it was just taking too long to pull out all the SEC filing kind of things. And so the kind of things that we were able to find was a lot of, if they announced a personnel change on their website, we were getting that with the subagents. The asset density and how many plants they had and their geographic spread, those things we got. Oh, the reference customers we got through the Sonnet subagents as well too. And so there's just a lot of data that we're getting with the subagent. The Anthropic API, we were getting the SEC filings and their earnings, and then we were reading that with the Anthropic Batch API so that we could keep our costs down as well too. And then finally, using the Parallel.ai web fetch tool. I think that Parallel.ai has made a phenomenal research tool that now they're even giving you a heavily rate limited version of it, but it's free, and you can do like 3 concurrent requests at a time, and it replaces the internal Claude web fetch. But their research tool is really good. So we use that for deep web research for transformation signals around like what kind of investments that they're making. Think about it as like a souped up Claygent. And if you haven't used Claygent before, it's basically an AI that does research on the web, and their benchmarks come back as being best in class and things like. And I just love using their API. It always comes out with some great stuff. And so then here's just some more reasoning of where we used what we needed to use. So for Rapid API, we were doing the personnel changes. With the Anthropic API, we were doing the annual or quarterly revenue and margin trends, acquisitions, restructuring programs. For Parallel.ai, it helped us find the digital AI programs, the new C-suite roles when it was announced, operational office creation or modernization, and then Claude, the subagent one, helped us find the plant closures, M&A narratives, SEC settlements, regulatory pressures, all these other things. And so then what else did this presentation, literally I just wrote the code in a folder and then I said, make a presentation of everything that we did here. And so basically just used a bunch of concurrent agents to figure out all this stuff. Yeah, see, it set up 284 agents to be able to find all of this information. And then it structured it into the signal type. So it said, this is a signal type for transformation, restructuring, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, and then this was just some information we were able to find. So Lamb Weston, Focus to Win program, $250 million savings target, 428 jobs eliminated. Connell, Washington plant closure, active multi-year. And see, and it found all of the information. It found where it found it from, what company it's with, everything. Like this data was super high quality. 2 global CEO changes in 18 months, plus new BBU president. We got all this data about this company. Here's an example of what we were able to get for a divestiture. Here's examples of what we're able to get for transformation around a plant closure. And so then we got a recent settlement in 2026. Right now, this unlocked just a ton of data for us to be able to use. And so I share this because I think that most often people are limited by just knowing that something is possible in Claude Code and Codex. I really only use Claude Code because I was just used to it. I think Codex would have been able to pull this off as well too. And so I think people should just see what's available to them and what they can possibly be doing with these tools. And so something that I would say is a huge takeaway from this is I would go for a walk, turn on a voice memo, and just say, I want to know everything about my TAM, and here's all the different data points that I want to know about, and just have Claude or Codex make a plan of getting that done, and then have it research my videos. Actually, there's really good documentation on clay.com's website about what each data provider does, and so then have it find you the best APIs, connect it to the Rapid API MCP, connect it to the Appify MCP, so you can get all this data. And I think you're going to get in a really, really good place. And so I hope this just shows you some things that are possible. And I hope you enjoy this video. This is just some stuff we put together for a customer last week, and I thought it was so interesting how deep the data got. So anyway, hope you're all having a great day, and thanks for watching the video.